Did you know that all financial products are bad? Well, did you also know that all financial products are good? Are you confused yet? Well, you should be, because unfortunately, this is how most financial products are presented to consumers in today's market. Well, in our today's Financial Freedom video, we're going to break this series up into two parts in helping you understand the fallacy of thinking that products are good and products are bad. So stay locked in. Hi, my name is Carson Graves, Certified Financial Planner and President and CEO of the Retirement Education Center.
And my name is Andrea Graves, Director of Operations at the Retirement Education Center. And we want to thank you for tuning in to our Retirement Education Concepts videos. These videos were created to help to make the difficult and confusing retirement process simple.
Yes, because with so many retirement strategies out there and so many retirement concepts, and of course with so many retirement products, it can become very difficult for consumers to digest it all. That's why we're so fortunate that we work with a team of expert advisors that'll help us build a financial roadmap that'll let our clients know when, where, and how they can reach their retirement goals.
For additional concepts on how to maximize your retirement, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the notification bell to be notified when we upload new videos. So Carson, in our everyday life, we are constantly consumed with this product is good and this product is bad. Well, if a product is really bad, how can it exist?
That is absolutely an excellent point that you're making, Andrea, because in reality, that product would absolutely not exist, right? I mean, why don't you just try to go to maybe like a Home Depot or Lowe's and ask the clerk for the lead-based paint section, right? Or maybe you're looking for some asbesto insulation. You're probably not going to find either of those items in those stores. And that is why the same would hold true for any financial products. If a product was really damaging and bad for the marketplace, it will soon be displaced and replaced with something better, or it will not exist altogether. So today, that's what we're going to do in our two-part series of helping consumers understand why no product is good and also why no product is bad. But before we get into today's lesson, we always like to give you two rules when it comes to retirement income. And what are those rules, Andrea?
Well, rule number one is to never run out of money. And rule number two is to never forget rule number one.
So let's go ahead and discuss why all financial products are bad and also why all financial products are good.
So Carson, this series may be very refreshing. So let's just go down the list of financial products that many financial salespeople may say are good or bad. So let's just start real simple and start with cash.
Yeah, let's just do that. Let's just start with something simple like cash. Because when you are in the midst of a financial salesperson, you may hear the term that cash is bad. But that's really only half the information that you should be given. Yes, cash has its disadvantages, and I'll go through them. One of the disadvantages of having cash is that when you hold too much cash, you may risk the fact of losing purchasing power because of inflation. Cash does not grow pretty much at all, Andrea. So if you hold too much of your resources in cash, later on down the road, that same dollar may not be able to purchase what a dollar is buying today. Another major disadvantage of holding too much cash or having too much cash on you is the risk of theft. If you're one of those people who like to show off or maybe make it rain in the club, you may be a target and someone may end up stealing from you and you cannot recover that which is in cash. Along with that, you are also putting yourself at risk as well. Another disadvantage of trying to hold too much cash on you is that it's extremely bulky. There's not a great storage for cash. So just imagine if you're going somewhere and you're trying to buy maybe furniture, or you're trying to buy a house or a car. I don't think you want to carry around tens of thousands of dollars on you in order to purchase those items. You're going to want to have a more convenient way of purchasing those items other than using cash. But of course, cash is not all bad. When you're dealing with cash, there are some advantages. One of the advantages is that if you have cash, it's very private. So if you want to go to your neighbor, or if you absolutely did want to make it rain, nobody will know it. You will not have really a paper trail. You'll be able to go purchase that item and it will not be able to be tracked back to you if you're using cash. So you do have that privacy factor when you're using cash. Another major advantage of having cash is that it could prevent you from getting into a lot of debt. See, when you don't have cash, a lot of times what you'll end up doing is pulling out the plastic and actually putting things on the credit card. That is not going to end well for you if you don't know how to manage debt. So having cash on hand could be a very good benefit for you, because typically you're only going to end up using the cash on hand to purchase whatever item that you're trying to buy. So as I piggyback off of that particular advantage of having cash, I want to make sure that I reflect back on the reason why you don't want to be using credit card debt to purchase your items. You can end up having too much interest that you're being charged. You can end up having so many fees using credit cards as well. These are things that you can avoid when you're using cash.
So Carson, since you mentioned the fees from a credit card as being bad or negative, that brings me to another financial tool that people either say is bad and good, and that's debt.
Yeah, so let's talk about debt, because this is always kicked around as being either bad or good. And like we're discussing here today, we're hoping to break these fallacies. Yes, there are some disadvantages of actually having debt. So let's talk about them. Like I mentioned, putting money on a credit card is not going to be a good situation for you when you're talking about managing your money properly if you do not have the proper amount of cash to back up said debt. Putting money on a credit card is always going to be a bad idea in that particular situation. So that's absolutely a disadvantage of using debt. Another disadvantage of using that type of debt is that that debt can come with a high amount of interest as well. The average annual percentage yield on credit cards now is over 20%. That is absolutely not a good use of your money when you're talking about making purchases. And of course, along with that high annual percentage yield, you may have some annual fees to pay along with that. Maybe some late payment fees, or maybe the credit card itself will have an annual fee with it as well. So these are some definite disadvantages of using debt. But there are definitely some obvious advantages for having debt, so we need to cover those as well. Now, when we're talking about some of the advantages of using debt, when you take on debt, and if you actually use it responsibly, you can build up great credit. You may want to end up buying a home someday. You may want to end up buying a new car, whatever it may be. When you're trying to purchase items like that requires a large amount of resources, the one place that you're going to want to use is debt. You're going to need to leverage those resources. Not many people are walking around with $350,000 in their pockets to buy a new home. That is very good if you can do that, but most of the time people are having to leverage that debt in order to buy that particular type of asset. Also, as we mentioned, when you have cash, that's really not convenient when you're trying to buy large items. So when you are using a credit card responsibly, it's going to allow you to have the convenience of use. You're going to be able to easily put a credit card in your wallet, go into that store and purchase that item. You don't have to carry around a large amount of cash to do such when you have a credit card on hand that you can utilize. Plus, it's a lot safer this way. If someone is trying to rob you, they're really not going to want to take your credit cards, because why? You can end up calling your bank and saying, hey, my credit card has been stolen, please turn it off. So they're not going to get very far. And that brings me to another advantage of using debt or using something like a credit card. When you do that, if you happen to have those credit cards stolen, like cash, you're not going to be responsible for the items that are purchased on said credit card. Your bank is typically going to put in a fraud report and return those funds back to you. So these are some great advantages of using debt. So if I wanted to sum up this particular financial product, Andrea, what I would say that if you're using debt, it is really important that you understand that you use debt to purchase an asset versus a liability.
Now, Carson, the last financial tool that we're going to talk about today are CDs. Now, I've even heard you refer to them as certificate of disappointments. So tell us more about this.
Yes, I have, Andrea. I'm guilty of calling CDs certificates of disappointments because in the past, they have been disappointing when it comes to trying to get a certain amount of growth from those dollars. And of course, that ties into exactly why I am doing this type of video, so we can make sure that we give the full scope of every type of financial product out there. So when it comes to CDs, there are some definite obvious disadvantages to utilizing CDs fully for your retirement purposes. One, when you're talking about CDs, they do not provide a significant amount of growth for the most part. Now, in today's economy, CDs are looking a lot better because you can find some CDs giving you rates of 4% or more. So that's a good thing, but that's due to the fact that we're in a highly inflationary environment. But historically, CDs, as far as rate of return goes, have been very, very disappointing. So you do have that risk of having very, very low growth of your money when it comes to CDs. Another disadvantage of having CDs, because of that low growth, is the loss of purchasing power, similar to having so much money in cash. If your CD rate is only going to be 1-2% over time, and inflation is 2.5-3% over time, then inevitably you're going to end up having purchasing power risk when you're talking about CDs. And one last disadvantage of having CDs is that they can be much less liquid than cash. CDs are usually bought for a longer period of time, maybe 1 year, 2, it can be 4 or even 5 years depending. And so with that being the case, if you needed to get to those dollars, you would be penalized for taking that money out before that CD has come due. But of course, CDs do have their place when it comes to a financial tool. Just like cash, CDs, when you purchase them at a bank, are FDIC insured. So if a bank were to become insolvent and you have up to the insurance amount of $250,000 in those CDs, well then you won't have to worry. Those dollars will be completely insured by FDIC insurance. Another advantage of having CDs is that although the interest may be significantly smaller than other investment tools that are out there, they still may be much higher than what most savings accounts are going to offer you. So at least you do have another safe place in which you can put those dollars and have a little bit more interest in what your banking account or your savings account is going to offer. So as you can see, there are obvious advantages and disadvantages to this particular financial tool as well, as there will be with the other financial tools that we're going to talk about in part 2 of this series.
Well, Carson, that was extremely helpful, so thanks for your insight on this topic. And thank you for watching. And if you felt this information was beneficial for you, please like this video and share with others.
So I hope that the information that we've shared with you in the first part of our 2-part series was beneficial in helping you understand that there are no good products and there are no bad products, and help you make smarter decisions in the future. Please note that these videos are created for educational purposes only, and that you should always seek out your own financial advisor, your own tax advisor, and your own attorney regarding your personal situation. Also, if you are looking for a fiduciary financial advisor to help you with these types of complex financial matters, we highly recommend that you utilize the links in our description below and go ahead and schedule a 1-hour free consultation with us today.
For more information about this topic or any of the other topics that we've shared in our other videos, please feel free to reach out to our office or leave any questions or comments in the section below. After this video, please check out our other videos that will give you tips on how to maximize your retirement. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and share it with a friend. Thanks for watching, and remember, if you have questions,
we have answers.